Welcome back to the second webinar in our six-part series on how to generate leads for your business. I'm Jason Beyer. I'll be co-hosting these events presented by CrowdSpring. CrowdSpring is a marketplace that helps your business get started with either a company or product name or visual assets to grow your brand. We have 6 rockstar presentations, awesome presenters for you. We had a very engaging session. It actually went 30 minutes over this morning because people were just engaged and wanted to keep talking with the host. So I am joined today with Larry Kim. Larry is the founder of Mobile Monkey, the world's best chat marketing platform. And he's going to talk to us about Instagram and what we can do with Instagram to grow our businesses. Larry, thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to just share my screen, okay?
Perfect.
And can you confirm that you can see that?
Perfect. Yep.
All right. So we're talking about my top Instagram marketing growth hacks for 2021 and beyond. Thank you, CrowdSpring, for hosting this event, and it's an honor to be here. My name is Larry Kim. And here's the thing, guys, my Instagram, it's blowing up. We're getting literally thousands of new followers every day and every week, and it's all pretty organic, and it's not just random strangers. It's not just more followers. The engagement, we can drive significant numbers. Many thousands of impressions and account page views and profile visits and all sorts of great outcomes. And we're also getting a lot of leads. I'm sure you think of Instagram as a way to, top of the funnel, get your pictures, your beautiful pictures out there. We're also getting tons of leads every week through Instagram, and they're not completely random strangers. They're actually pretty interesting people. Supermodels. Supermodels are actually, WhatsApping us and direct messaging us. Not just one, like many of them. As well as billionaires as well. Just if this is not an area that you spend a lot of time in, Instagram, I think it's quite an interesting ecosystem for particularly if your end customer is a consumer. These consumers spend a lot of time on Instagram, we're just getting a lot of leads, a lot of engagement, a lot of visibility, a lot of growth, a lot of interesting conversations, and even my crappy Instagram account, which this is kind of a zoomed in picture of my Instagram account. I don't think it's that remarkable. It's just carousels of how to do Instagram marketing. They're generating hundreds of comments per post. So this one here is just the yellow square. It has 700 comments and 405 hearts. Which is pretty good because this is all organic. I'm not paying anything for ads here. And so the question here is just, how is this possible? Like, how on earth, can you get supermodels and billionaires and 700 comments on your posts on Instagram? And that is the topic of the discussion today. I'll be sharing all the secrets of how to grow your Instagram and how to get more traction and more visibility there. Before jumping into all the tips and tricks, I wanted to introduce myself briefly. My name is Larry Kim. I'm known as the founder of a company called WordStream. WordStream was it's the largest Google AdWords and Facebook advertising platform. I started my company in my 20s, out of a bakery called Panera Bread in 2008 because of free Wi-Fi and unlimited Diet Coke refills and free rent. Created that company, literally starting with nothing, working out of this bakery here by myself, to over 350 people, managing over $1 billion of ad spend annually for tens of thousands of customers globally and reaching over 350 employees. It is a category leader, across all these platforms. And that was an exciting journey, growing this business from literally nothing to, over 55 million in revenues 3 years ago. And I sold that company in 2008, so 3 years ago, for $150 million to Gannett, which is the owner of USA Today. So that was awesome. I'm working on my new company called Mobile Monkey. This is a messaging company, so like a text messaging company, and we do text messaging across multiple channels like SMS text messaging, Instagram text messaging, as well as WhatsApp, as well as website chat. And so we just bring all these different channels together into one automated and unified inbox. Last thing I'll say is that, like, everything we're talking about today, it's above board. Nothing here is going to get your account deleted or anything like this. Mobile Monkey, it's an official, Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger solution provider company, and we're both the largest and the fastest growing in the category for this year. All right, so back to our story. We're talking about my top 5 Instagram growth hacks of 2022. And when I talk about hacks, I just want to make sure we're on the same page, because a lot of people will say, I'm going to give you my hacks, and one of the hacks will be like, I don't know, like trying many, like post a lot of content. Like, well, wait a minute, is that really a hack? Because of course you got to post a lot of content. I think what people want to know when you talk about hacks is, like, what are the shortcuts? What are the things that you can do that's not a lot of work, that has this unusual, asymmetrical benefit, like supermodels or billionaires, calling up, you up the wazoo, and then what are the unusual but yet not illegal tips and tricks that a business owner can follow to achieve massive results in literally no time at all. And so that is what I will be talking about. Starting with
real quick, we've got some folks listening that are having a hard time hearing. Is there a way maybe get a little closer to the mic, or if there's something else that's drawing some bandwidth, messing with the connection?
Yeah, is this any better?
Yeah, perfect, much better.
Sometimes, so number 5, we're talking about my number 5 Instagram hack, which is really new feature and function that is just released just literally 2 months ago, which is an Instagram comment autoresponder. Now, this is a feature that we actually developed in combination with Instagram. So we partnered with Instagram to build this feature. So this is available on Instagram and is being used by, a few thousand accounts. So you would be, among the first top 1% of people to use this if you were to use this. And so remember that post I was showing you a minute ago that had like 500 comments or something like this? So the way it works here is that in the description of the post, okay, you can say a call to action. A call to action could be like, type in the word auto DM, like AUTO DM, in the comments, and then I'll give you instant access to all of the 15, new use cases of how to use this direct messaging automation. So typically when you post stuff to Instagram, it's just like your lunch or, pretty people and stuff like this, or products. But it's really difficult to like, get business value out of that, because there's no way to drive that traffic to your website. If you put a link in the description, it won't be clickable. Like you can't navigate from a post to a website. So this is kind of a clever way to kind of engage people more deeply. And as you can see, people want to know the secrets. Like if you make an offer, like this carousel is about 15 examples, and it only has 5 examples in that carousel. People want to know the other 10 examples. And so, if there's a call to action saying engage to get a little bit more information, this doesn't cost them any money. It's dropping a comment in a post. And this so far has gotten over 700 comments. And if you want to see how this works, there's a very simple way to do it on your phone. just pull up the Instagram app and go to Instagram, pull up my account, Kim_Larry, and just kind of scroll down the feed to look for that yellow post, and try posting a comment, see what happens. So what happens is when someone types auto DM in the comments, we automatically respond privately through the direct messages and send them like a link to a resource on our website where they can claim in this case the resource that was being promised. And so in terms of like how effective is this tactic, it's insane. So this is not a paid promotion. As you can see here, this is the analytics for this tactic. It says how much did you pay for this? It says 0 promotion clicks. That's because we didn't pay to promote this post. This is purely organic. So this post, it reached 6,091 people, of which 700 people commented. That's an insane 11.5% kind of take rate, if you will, like in terms of like people wanting to engage further. I think if anyone had an 11.5% conversion rate, they would be very excited.
Sure.
In terms of like the craziest thing here is like of that 6,991 visitors who saw the post, 69% of them were not following me. Okay, so it's almost like I boosted this post without paying to boost the post. And that's because when you put a call to action, the Instagram algorithm, like you're going to get a lot of comments when you offer something in exchange for a comment. You're going to get a lot of comments, and when the Instagram algorithm sees that a lot of people are commenting on a post, the algorithm tries to then expand the universe of people who are going to see that post for free. So it's going to go to your secondary degree connections, people who are not yet following you, but who have characteristics in common with whoever it was who commented on that post. And that's the only way you can grow an Instagram account. If you're not getting your account in front of other new people, this is your mom and your I don't know, your wife or something, like you're not going to grow. Okay, so the only way to get the only real growth strategy in Instagram is to get your content in front of other people. How do you do this? By getting engagement. Now you can do it the hard way, which is by posting beautiful stuff and hoping and praying that people will comment and share and stuff like this. Or you can take the hack, which is the easy way, and just ask for the comment and then promise something in return. Right? So that took me 5 minutes to set up, and it, I think my average post gets maybe 500 to 1,000 views. So this, 10 to 20x the visibility of this post.
That's phenomenal. When I was seeing that number, I mean, that's what stood out to me as soon as you made that slide, because I've been thinking, look, we're not Larry, right? We don't have, this large company or this large personal brand, but you're saying it doesn't matter. 70% growth weren't even following you.
It's the only way to grow. Like if it is getting in front of other people, and this is the most leveraged way to do it, other than maybe Instagram Reels, which is kind of this other crazy format in Instagram where it's kind of like TikTok where it shows the content, even if you're not following the account. So my suggestion here is just try this out yourself. You can see, these are real accounts like Digital Agency One and a couple verified accounts. They're all just commenting, and there's kind of like a social pressure now, like there's all this social validation on the account. So what you can do is you can pin three of the comments. You can pin them on the post. So pick the ones that look kind of a little more authoritative and pin them to the top of the post. And go ahead and try this out on the Instagram app. Go to Kim_Larry in the Instagram app, find the yellow post, comment auto DM, and you'll see that experience of me sending you a link privately through the direct messages. And this is fire. I can see Janie Mathias just commented. So people are actually, oh wow, a lot of people are doing this. So that's great. So moving along, so I kind of describe this as boosting a post for free. Okay, Why do I call it boosting a post for free? Well, it kind of does the same things that a boost post does, right? It, dramatically increases the visibility of your post. It also generates 10 to 100 times more comments than you would otherwise get had you not included a call to action. So that's what we're seeing. Like if you post the same piece of content, one with a call to action and one without a call to action, the one with the call to action generates anywhere from 10 to 100 times more comments. And this is kind of the secret of how I'm generating all those follows. It's just, people just see the content and then they click the follow button. So my number 5 hack for 2021 is, you would never run a marketing campaign and not include a call to action, correct?
Right, exactly.
But yet on Instagram, people post pretty pictures and they never include a call to action. So there's a little bit of a dissonance here. If the purpose of your Instagram account is a business or a personal brand, which is kind of like a personal business, well then include calls to action on all the content that you produce, or a majority of the content that you produce. Sure, if you just want to share a baby photo or something like that, then maybe there's no need for that call to action. But on a good amount of content that you're producing, include a call to action and watch the magic, go. It's incredible. And so here's what it looks like for the people who haven't tried it out yet. This is just an animation here. So the user, it says type yes. So the user posts the comment yes on the Instagram post that gets posted, and look what happens. You get a private message, through the integrated Instagram direct messaging tool, which provides a link to get more information. And then we could send them to like a landing page that was designed, through one of these partners like Lead Pages or using a crowdspring contractor. So it's just a way of kind of bringing everything all together. Okay, user gets you can do this without automation, but it's just annoying because then you have to hire like a virtual assistant to go in and find all the people who commented and direct message them the link. But the problem is that there's like some limits. Like you can only send 16 messages per hour, whereas the limits for automated DMs it's in the thousands and thousands per.
And this is approved by Instagram, so they know what you're doing. Yeah.
Like we are an API partner with Instagram, so we worked with them over a year now for designing and building this functionality. So the way that people typically do calls to action in Instagram is they say see link in bio. Okay, like they'll post a picture of some product and they'll say see link in bio. And my thesis is that this is a terrible way to drive traffic to a website. It's terribly inefficient. One, well, is it easy to do? So no, it's not easy, because you have to navigate away from the content that you're consuming, find the profile page. It's 3 clicks away, and then that's just a funnel. Like you're going to lose people on every stage of that funnel, of the see link in bio funnel. Comment below. You're already on the content. Just drop a comment, and you get whatever is being promised. When people click on your bio link, that doesn't increase the visibility of your content. When people comment, it does increase the visibility of your content. And so if you just kind of think about how much traffic is being driven to your website or to your offer page, from using the see link in bio text versus the autoresponder, it's like 10 to 100 times more effective at driving traffic to wherever it is you were hoping for people to go to.
And you're sending them right where you want. The context is perfect. It's connected to that offer as opposed to a generic, website in your header. We got a comment from Alexandra. Must this be on a business account? So everything you've talked about up till now, is this only for an Instagram business account, or does it work for a personal account where maybe you're just getting started with your business?
So you can, this works on there's 3 types of accounts on Instagram. There's a business, creator, and personal. It works on creator and business accounts. Now, there's all sorts of benefits of becoming a business or a creator account. Like there's better tools, better analytics. You have the ability to run ads or remarketing, like whatever. There's more analytics. So if this is a serious business, there's no downside in converting your personal thing into a business or a creator account. A creator is kind of like not quite a business, but not quite a personal account. Now, these are not permanent changes, like they're not irreversible. If you decide in the future, like, I want to go back to my personal account, you can just switch it back with one click. But you do have to be either a business or a creator account to enable this functionality at the time.
Perfect. Okay.
This is my number 4 Instagram marketing hack. Again, brand new. It's only been out for about 60 days. And this is to develop funnels within your Instagram direct messaging. So here's an example of an automation that I've created that it will automatically reply when people are direct messaging your Instagram page. So you have this Instagram page here. There's a big button that says message. If someone clicks on that button, the problem is that nobody is manning the store, if you will, and these messages just go into the ether and they just wait. Right? That's not a great way to sell more stuff. But what if you could connect sort of like an answering service to this inbox? And I can show you how that works. Somebody clicks the message button, then you could tell them to enter a keyword, or they could say hello, or they could say anything at all, and that'll trigger sort of like a main menu, which will reveal sort of what are the available options to pick from. It's kind of like when you call a drugstore and it says like press 1 for the pharmacy, press 2 for the front hours of operation or whatever. Like there's usually like buckets of reasons for why people are trying to get in touch with you, either customer service or trying to buy the thing. And you can kind of segment the users automatically by creating a chat bot that will automatically figure out why the heck people are reaching out to you in the first place and try to direct them to the appropriate resource. If you want to try this out, you can just go on Instagram again and just say hello to, in this case, the mobile monkey Instagram page, and this will work. Here's an example of a simple Instagram automation that you can create. All these are by the way, created in third-party tools such as Mobile Monkey. So you have to find an Instagram partner. This is not available in the Business Manager yet. It's kind of like how scheduling of posts is like, you need to use like Buffer for that or something like that, or Hootsuite. So to set up these messaging automations, you need to use something like Mobile Monkey. And so this is a simple Instagram direct messaging automation example. It just, someone messages the business. It says, hey, I'm the chat agent. Choose a topic. So the user clicks on the button Instagram. It tells them some information about Instagram. It asks them a bunch of more questions. Eventually, the user wins a prize. Like we quiz the user, he answered correctly, and then we say, okay, can you give me the email address, of where you'd like me to send the guide to? Okay. Do you see how that's like, we just kind of do this kung fu maneuver where we switched it from, them, giving us, them messaging us, to now us asking them for their email, so that we have kind of their ID, so that we can follow up with them, off of Instagram. The problem with Instagram is there's that damn algorithm that kind of controls, if they're going to see this thing or not. But as soon as we get their email address, well, then you have all the power. And in terms of how do you set up these automations, well, we have a tool called InstaChamp. This is like our, super easy to use, automation creator tool. And as you can see here, you just add the images that you want to send. You just type out the text, you type out the options, and you save it. And that's what the user will see when they interact with your Instagram through direct messages. All right, Jason, any questions so far?
So far, so good. In terms of the functionality for engaging this past hack, number 4, you had mentioned this has to be through a third-party tool, something like Mobile Monkey. I think you just mentioned it on that last slide. That's where they find that product. That product was called
InstaChamp.
Perfect.
So we have 2 products. One is InstaChamp. This is just for Instagram and Facebook Messenger. That's very simple to use. And then we have this other one called Mobile Monkey, which is like a super powerful marketing automation platform for chat, but it's more for the advanced use cases, like integrations with HubSpot or with
Sure.
ActiveCampaign and all this other stuff. So this is InstaChamp. Number 3 marketing hack has to do with the use of keyword triggers. Okay, so you can have the phone, like I call it the phone tree, but you can have your chatbot answer kind of in a generic way, to anyone who messages you, or you can configure it to have special responses according to what keywords were used to initiate the chat. So how does this work? So this is an example from that Neil Patel uses. So he uses Instagram direct message keyword triggers. So remember how before I was saying, like, you add a call to action in your content, you say comment below. Another way of adding a call to action on your Instagram content is to just ask people to direct message you. Okay, so if you DM the word growth to Neil Patel, he'll send you a guide on social media strategy. Okay, he's actually using Mobile Monkey. So you can kind of override that basic, how can we help you message, now based on sort of the entry keyword. So it's like someone messaged me the word growth, so I'm going to set up an automation that specifically responds to that keyword. There's a lot of ways you can use this, Jason. Like, say you're doing a live stream on Instagram and you want people to take a kind of a next step, if you will. It's very difficult to say, visit my website at www.blah.io or something, like, it's just, no one's going to do that. Okay, but if you say on your live stream, direct message me the word growth, people
much easier to remember that. Yeah.
And they're already in Instagram because they're watching you, so they can comment or direct message you directly from the app and not have to go to a browser. So you can include these calls to action in your live streams, in your video content. So like the reels, the IGTV, the carousels, the ads, they can all have as a call to action. Direct message me something like Clubhouse or blah blah. Like, just you could ask them to message you crypto or something, and then send them a guide on that topic. And of course the other thing you can do is you can use these Instagram calls to action on other creator platforms. So if you're on YouTube or TikTok, or on a podcast, a lot of times when people listen to these things like a TikTok, a YouTube, or podcast, they want to know more about Jason or Larry. They usually end up on your Instagram page because it has like all the pictures of who you are and your family and what you're doing. So, you can just say, you can give an offer on a podcast, and then have people, direct message you. You don't have to give out your email address on the podcast. You could say, just DM me the word something, podcast on Instagram, and you kind of.
And this is really flowing back to that first hack you mentioned, which is the big takeaway, I think, for everybody, is get more comments, right? Like that's the goal. If you want to get found by the algorithm, you have to be incentivizing people to comment. And what you're doing is making it easy to be able to quickly reply automatically.
Yeah, so it's a fulfillment issue. So like, you can do this without automation. It's just that you also have to hire some virtual assistant to manually go through the responses. And in fact, a lot of people do this, for the last 10 years. It's just that it was a pain in the butt because there was no way to do it automatically. Now you can do it automatically. So I think this is wrong. I think this is my number 2 Instagram marketing hack. I think the number's wrong. So this is auto reply to Instagram story mentions. So we're talking about Instagram growth, and the most leveraged thing you can do on Instagram to get more followers quickly is to get more story mentions. Do you know what a story mention is, Jason?
No, go ahead.
It's kind of like the equivalent of an Instagram retweet.
Okay.
Okay. So when I retweet on Twitter, it kind of like anyone who's following me is going to see that content that I just, if they're scrolling through their feed and they see, and I appear on their timeline, they will see that post, even though they're not following that person. And so a story mention, it's like, you share to your story on Instagram, and I like what you have shared, and so I share it to my story, and then I say, like, check out this amazing, thing from Jason. Okay, and I tag you in that content and I share it to my story, so the people who are following me and see me in their kind of timeline of stories, they'll see your content. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So it's kind of like an implied endorsement. Like, it's very valuable. Like, if you can get big accounts to kind of share your content, it's a very valuable endorsement. It's like someone else is saying something nice to you and nice about you, and is sharing that with their own personal community. So the question is, how do you get these valuable story mentions? And again, the answer is you ask for them. So like everyone on Instagram, but they're hoping to get their content shared by people, but they don't actually go the full mile and ask for the share. And so in terms of, like, if there's one thing that you could do to organically grow in a very leveraged way to get more, it would more followers on Instagram, more targeted followers, that are real. It would be to get more story mentions and shares, more shares and mentions on Instagram. And so this is what I was talking about. It's just a referral. It's showing in front of the content of your secondary degree connections, basically. And here's how to get more story mentions. So this is an Indian influencer named Saurav Jain, okay? And I want you to see what he's done here. So he's saying, this is an Instagram reel. So that's like a video content, vertical video. And he says, new automated stories to Instagram in Mobile Monkey. Now in the content, he says, like, if you look at this, where's the check marks here? 1, share this reel on your story. Number 2, tag Saurav Jain, that's the guy. And then 3, get ebook worth $9.99. So he's kind of making an offer, like, I'm going to give you this thing if you just tag me and share this content to your story. Okay, it's valuable, and it takes you 2 seconds to do. And this crazy thing, okay, it has 2,000 shares. Like, like that's unfathomable. Like, this is just like a random, piece of video content, and he got 2,000 shares on this piece of content because his audience really wanted to see that guide. So he had a pretty good offer. And then, of course, he's since set up an automation in Mobile Monkey to then intercept those shares and story mentions, to then direct message kind of the link on how to claim the $999 course that he's giving away, to do that automatically. Like it sends a link to a private registration thing that doesn't require like any money. Okay, so that's how you do it. It's amazing. You can get mediocre content getting hundreds or thousands of shares just by promising something to the user in exchange for them kind of singing for their supper, if you will.
And do you find you always need to provide something like a lead magnet, an ebook, in order to get the share? Is it possible you can have, because you're going to create a lot of content, a lot of these asks. I suppose it could just be about, I'm trying to think of maybe a use case. You're trying to get the word out about something important, so somebody's going to share the reel. What are some other ways where, we're going to run out of ebooks and maybe content? What are other ways to incentivize people to share your reel?
there's the sky's the limit. The world's your oyster here. Like, just use your creativity, and you can end on a cliffhanger. Like, you could have a kind of a carousel that kind of tells a story, but the end of the story isn't there.
Oh, that's
Okay.
the worst. I'm going to have to share it to see that.
And then you say, share for the rest of the story. Or, say you're an artist, you produce music videos, like you could give a teaser of the video, and then you could say share, and I'll send you a private link to I don't know, like to the full video. Okay. So it's just I think you said the use case or the pattern of use. It's always it's one that is used a lot in content marketing. It's to not give everything up front. Okay, it's to give 30, 40, 50, 60% up front, and then saving a little bit, in reserve, in exchange for either a share, a comment, or a direct message. And once people start doing this, the algorithm notices that. It's just like, oh wow, Jason just direct messaged Larry. Sure. So now we have a direct messaging history. And so next time I share my story, the order of the stories, I'm going to be one of the first ones, because we have a really strong connection algorithmically. We're DMing. Like that means like, there must be a close friendship or something like this.
Right.
So there's different degrees of engagement. Like, I can like your posts, I can comment on your posts, I can share your content. Like the stronger the connection is, the more likely you'll see my stuff.
So let's mention that you mentioned liking. We've been conditioned since social media came out, to hit a like button as a show of our support, for that channel or that creator. You haven't mentioned that yet until just now. You've been talking about comments and sharing and other forms of engagement. Does the like matter? Is it the lowest form?
Yeah, it's like meta keywords in SEO. Like, sure. It's been so devalued, because that was like kind of like, it's just so easy to hire an army of robots to like your post 1,000 times that Facebook is no dummy. They know that. Sure. That's easily gained. These harder ones to automate, getting a lot of people, real accounts, to share your stuff, or a lot of people to comment on your posts, like that's harder to do. And so those have more weight.
Yeah, sharing a reel that's going to show up in somebody's stories is much more of an endorsement. It's not like you have to look to see who did Jason or Larry like. This is a very prominent endorsement. Okay.
Right. And so the algorithm will take note of that, and it'll showcase my content on your friends feeds, even though they didn't interact. It'll be like people, a similar audience kind of technology. And then of course your direct followers will see the content because you shared it to your story. So you can pick up followers both ways. All right, so we're down to I think my numbering is off. I thought this was my number one Instagram marketing hack.
I think it is. We might be surprised with a bonus one later.
And that is to collect emails and phone numbers from Instagram. Okay, so the problem with these things is, like, Instagram is flying high right now, and the engagement's really good, and you can post with a very little effort. You can get a good amount of exposure on Instagram. The challenge is, like, the algorithm shifts. Maybe they favor something else. It's kind of like Facebook. Like, you used to be able to get a good amount of engagement there. It's such a ghost town right now. It's like all like Facebook groups and stuff like that. So the idea is, while things are still hot, collect the phone numbers and emails of the people who are following you, or the people who are engaging with your content. Okay. And the question is, well, how do you do that at scale? Well, it would be very difficult to hire a kind of a virtual assistant to ask everyone manually for their phone number or email. But you can definitely do this at scale with automation. And so this is just an example of an automation where it just says, hey, thanks for reaching out. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two? And you can sequence a few questions, like, can I get your email address so that we can stay in touch, or can I get your phone number? So you can create scripts, like all of these automations that get triggered if someone shares your content or someone comments or someone direct messages you, then the floor is yours. Like you can respond in any way you wish. So I have the right to message you automatically, Jason. Like, why don't I make it count? Like, why don't I ask for your email address? Like, instead of just sending you straight to, a new video, why don't I say like, hey, Jason, can I get your email address and I'll email you the video? You see what I'm saying? So like, just get the phone numbers, emails, and then send them to, to wherever it was promised. And these automations are very easy to create in Instant Chat for Mobile Monkey. And here's what that looks like. So it just says, please enter, an email address for me to send you the registration. So I can get people to, sign up for a webinar through Instagram, right? Because I can zap the data. I can take the email that was entered in on Instagram and then fish it out of there using Mobile Monkey, and then using the API, I can send that through to Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever, and then I can get a response back, containing the unique URL for them, and then I can email that to them. So there's so much you can do. My point is just to say, Instagram used to be this island where it's like, especially the direct messages, there was no way to get the data out of there. Okay. And now with automation through Mobile Monkey and Instagram, you can ask for structured data such as address, phone number, email, etc., and then export them anywhere, like to Google Sheets, Salesforce.com, Mailchimp, wherever you want, through integrations, in Mobile Monkey, and this is just gives you an idea of like, who do we integrate with? Well, you could have, if someone messages your Instagram page, you could notify a Slack channel, for example, or you could dump it into a Google Sheet or send it into a Mailchimp and then add them to a sequence, like a drip campaign, or Zoom or
so I'm a big fan of pulling out that data because you don't know what's going to happen to the platform or your account, right? You could run into a problem, and then all this work that you've been working on, you're lost in trying to hunt these folks down. So I like that idea of pulling it out. I see your example, but it's really simple. It's, hey, can I get your email address? Do you find that works, or is there a need to provide a little bit more of an explanation? I find when I'm on a platform and somebody wants to take me somewhere else, I'm like, well, I'm comfortable here. I'm talking to you here. Why do you need that extra, piece of data? Is it as simple as saying, it works best if I send this by email because it's a bigger data file or something like that?
I don't know if you remember my example that I gave earlier. It was here. This is an email opt-in here. It says like, what's the email address of where you'd like me to send the guide? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm capturing the email. I didn't just go straight to it. I didn't say, Jason, give me your email.
Sure.
That's like a hostage situation. Like here, it's like, tell me about your Instagram and like, can I ask you a question? You got the answer correctly. I'm going to send you a prize. What's the email where you want me to send it to?
Sure.
Like, most people want to claim the prize. So there's ways to ask for an email that is not, that is more amenable to form completion than just saying, give me your email.
And it's very specific. So you asked for the email here, but you also didn't ask for my phone number as well, right? You've picked the one that makes the most sense for both your goals in the future, as well as the ask, what you're asking for.
You nailed it. You got it. Yep. So again, this is my last one here. So the numbering is totally screwed up. Sorry. This is automated follow-ups. So just like how when you capture an email or phone number on your website, you might want to send follow-ups, like a set sequence of a drip campaign of different text messages or emails, and so you can do that in Instagram. Just a show of hands, does anyone here know that you can do drip campaigns in Instagram messaging? Like, can you dump it into the chat? Does anyone have?
I lead a lot of drip email marketing, and I had no idea about that.
Well, it's new. This is new in Instagram. Again, you need to go through a partner, but as soon as someone messages you, the floor is yours. So you can write them back and then stop there, or I can design a sequence going out for like several days of content that I can just keep sending you. You know, join, you know, follow me on YouTube, or, you know, blah, 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 like all these follow-ups, like here's a special offer. Just to kind of, I mean, the problem is an impression on Instagram is fleeting. And so the goal of this is to kind of increase recall so that people remember who it was they were engaging with, so that, you know, they'll kind of remember, oh, Larry was the Instagram guy or something, you know, or Jason is the you know, the marketplace for you know, designer kind of guy. So automated follow-ups, you definitely want to do this, and it's very simple. It's like after you're done designing kind of the interaction, you can specify a follow-up here where it says, like, you know, wait 10 minutes or wait an hour, and then just, you know, specify like what you want to send them at that time. And then this goes automatically. It triggers a notification on their phone, and they'll see it. You know, you'll be back on their radar screen again. And you can do this as many times as you wish. And so, in terms of like what do you typically do? Well, you can do targeted re-engagement campaigns. It's basically free remarketing. So if I'm, you know, sending out messages to my followers or to my engagers, it's kind of like I'm just pinging. It's like notifying them of like, here, I'm live on Instagram or something. Like, you know, you can just follow up with them. And so some of the strategies for direct messaging follow-ups, it could be like connect deeper. So you know, follow me on TikTok or YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook group. It could be follow-up funnels, like getting the phone number if you only have their email, or getting the email if you only have their phone number. You can do user segmentation. So you can ask them a question like, you know, for me, it would be something like, are you an agency or an in-house marketer? You know, like I can use that, and then I can remember how they answer that question, so that subsequent communication will be tailored to their identity, as opposed to just a broadcast to all users. All right, so you've wasted 45 minutes here talking with Jason and I about Instagram growth hacks for 2021 and beyond. Wanted to kind of wrap it up and summarize what we've been talking about. And I wanted to first thank Jason for putting on this event, and CrowdSpring. Thank you so much for doing this. And in this last 40 minutes or so, we've been embarked on a epic journey from donkey land Instagram to unicorn Instagram land, wherein we discussed leveraged hacks that you can copy, like directly copy, to make your crappy Instagram content smell like unicorn perfume. And this is like, my content is not that great. It's doing really, really well. And the secret is direct messaging automation, that I am, bolting on easy comment automations to the footers and to the descriptions of my posts. I am building out, simple bot automations for people who direct message me. I have automated certain, story mentions. If you share and mention my content on Instagram, you'll get a little reward. You can try that. And I'm capturing phone numbers and emails to export this valuable audience off of Instagram and to make it my own. And I am sending out automated follow-ups to get more leverage from this Instagram engagement to add more life and engagement to all my other channels and offers, etc. And so that is what we talked about today. In terms of how to get this yourself, you can just go to this URL, mobilemonkey.com/Instagram. That'll redirect you to sign up flow. And then just thank you, Ross. Sorry, Ross is the other guy. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Ross, I work very closely. Ross, he's the CEO of CrowdSpring. We've been doing this now for quite a few years together. Larry, appreciate it. We've got some questions and we have a little bit of time, so let's get into this while we're getting through a few of these. Couple questions around payment for MobileMonkey, as well as the InstaPost service. What does that look like? Are there free accounts? Are there trials? What do you have?
So the Instagram if it's just basic automation, and 99% of the stuff that we talked about today is basic automation. You could use this product called InstaChamp, and that's like I don't know, it's a free forever product that you can just get from our website. Now, the only thing about it is that all these automated sends it'll have like a little bit of branding on it, so it'll say sent from mobile. It's the same thing that Constant Contact or all these other products do. If that's a problem, you can just pay it's like 10 or 20 bucks a month to have that removed. So that's sort of there's a free edition that goes forever but has a little bit of branding, or a paid version that's very, very low cost and that doesn't have that branding. All right.
Perfect. Another question around interaction, solicitation, this idea of privacy, right? And so you've explained a way to do the follow-up messages, the drip automations. Do you need any type of privacy or opt-in, or once they start engaging with you, in the Instagram world, is there a concept of can spam or some of these other email rules that we're familiar with?
So Instagram is present in Europe and stuff like this. So it works differently in different countries. So sometimes if you're chatting with people in certain countries, it'll just say Instagram user. It won't give their name. Okay. But in terms of collecting data, it's not like these cookie privacy laws where you don't know that you're being surveilled. Like, the user actually has to grant you the information. They have to, if Instagram isn't giving us the power to kind of infer the number directly, just like how you could do with a cookie or something like this. Like this is and you're asking them for the information. And now, could you be a little more explicit about okay, now do we have permission to message you again? That's kind of left up to you as the creator of these automations. Like if you want to have this really long terms of service or something, I suppose there's nothing stopping you from doing that. I just it doesn't seem to be compatible with the culture of Instagram, which is slide into my DMs. Have you ever heard of that thing? Right. There's a very casual DMing. I DM movie stars, great movie, that kind of stuff, and occasionally they'll heart the message or something, so it's just a more casual atmosphere. Now, if you get reported a lot, if a lot of people start saying this is spam or this is obnoxious, that's how you end up in trouble. So that's less about it's
more about your processing content, right? It's more about actually adding value, not spamming, and then people won't have a problem with giving you a little bit of extra information.
You got it.
Okay. A question on my side that we still have quite a few people live, so I want to make sure we get this answer before people start falling off. But so you have some great ideas for growing your audience. What happens when you're starting from zero, from 100 followers, from something very small? Maybe you have a strong email presence. Maybe you're just starting your business, but you don't have Larry Kim size followers, right? Where do you start? There's this concept we've all heard, people buying the initial. Nobody wants to go first, right? So how do you get those first couple where now you can actually start making some traction in the comments for these? What's just some general advice for going from very low follower count to something a little bit higher?
It's Reels. It's Instagram Reels. So a Reel on Instagram, it's a vertical video. It's less than 30 seconds. And the interesting thing about it, it has a different distribution algorithm. Okay, so whereas typically you see the content in your feed that is of people who you're following, that's kind of the old way of doing it. What Reels does is it just knows who you are and what kind of content you've engaged with in the past, and it'll just automatically show that content to people who it thinks will be interested in it. Now, the thing about this is that it has to be interesting. So there's algorithms to target the content to people who might be interested in. But then the other thing that has to happen is people have to consume that content. They have to stay to the end, or watch it on a loop 3 times, and then comment on it, and these direct messaging automation tools you can bolt on top of a reel by saying, direct message me or share this reel or comment below, and then you kind of have the best of both worlds. Because you'll have the distribution to people who haven't yet started following you, which, if you think about Instagram, it's like 1 billion people. So if you're starting from nothing, then you're probably better off starting in reels than in the kind of the feed, if you will, because you have the followers, and then supercharging those reels with direct messaging automation. Does that make sense?
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that process. Yeah, so if I'm a small business coach or somebody like this, I'm going to think about what's the most creative short content I can create in a reel. I have 0 current followers or less than 100, and I'm going to start creating really high quality, more engaging reels, and that's going to show this content through the algorithm to folks that should boost that follower count.
And it's not rocket science. Jason, have you seen that template where a guy points to words?
Yes.
On the screen?
Yes.
And you look at that, it says like 50,000 likes and 10,000 shares or something.
How? Right. I've spent hours trying to create something better.
There's a really easy explanation for it. It's just people want to know what the person has to say, and they're doing it a little bit slowly. Right. So that actually increases the dwell time. Okay. And so people are trained to just stay to the end of that kind of thing. And even if it's not even that great, it's too late. By the time you get to the end, the algorithm there's no way to take that view time back and say, oh, like I just wasted 15 seconds on this.
Right.
So like just follow it. The best advice would be to look at what works on Instagram and copy that. Like, just don't try to be overly creative. Just there's certain formulas for success on reels, and I would just mimic that and make it your own.
That's phenomenal. Well, and to bring it full circle, what I would do when you're pointing to those words is leave off the last slide and make it a lead magnet. They've got to share your reel in order to get that last picture.
Or the last tip or something.
Right. Well, Larry, it's been great. Listen, there's a few other questions all related to process around InstaChimp and Mobile Monkey. I'd encourage you to go over to the site. They've got a lot of how-to content to be able to engage with that. And simple plans to be able to get started. Larry, really appreciate you joining us. Thanks everybody for coming live.